what was the impetus for the Ryan podcast, and then just how has it been received? I'm sure alumni have loved it, especially not being able to travel to matches and having that access. And I understand you broadcast some of the meets as well, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that. For one, the grind started, I guess, last season, the end of last season. Just started the Twitter account like most things happen, and Ryan took notice of it. Him and I met for coffee and kind of told him what my plan was. I'm also set on the Yosef Club Advisory Board, so I do know some of the financial struggles of providing scholarships for an FBS program, right? It's kind of new for Appalachian State University, so I'm familiar with what we do with how much money we really don't have, right? So it became for me is athletics doesn't have the budget to do what I feel needs to be done for the program. I'm a Midwestern guy. Wrestling for me is like basketball is here in North Carolina. As soon as you can walk, you're on a mat in Michigan. So I knew that it needed some, what we call grassroots efforts, right? So, we're a small town. We don't have a big major market in TV or anything like that. And it just became kind of a passion project in the beginning, just producing a podcast, bringing in some of the All-Americans, talking about them, what they're doing, some of the past coaches we brought on. And then obviously the pandemic hit, and it just, what are we going to do? Was really the question, because we knew that we weren't going to bring a lot of fans. They obviously streamed the matches before, but we didn't have commentators involved, and nobody was really putting forth the effort to it. It became a much bigger issue than I initially thought, as you probably know, dealing with other programs and the kind of things you guys do. Came down, we've got to get licensing agreements. We went the whole 10 yards, everything that we needed to do, we went through. The idea was obviously to start with a black and gold match. And I think a week or two before the black and gold match, we finally got the licensing agreement. It took about 9 months to get it done. So a lot of conversation brought it to that point. Able to do it, connected with Martin from Rokfin. Had a great conversation with him. I think it's an excellent platform for what we do and what we're trying to do. And really just about bringing awareness. We've got, you said it, they took 7 people to the NCAA tournament. It's on a program that has 5.5 scholarships. I don't know that there's programs out there that have that few scholarships or took that many wrestlers. And my whole premise today, as a matter of fact, as soon as we leave here, I'm meeting with a guy from athletics to give him a check to go to the scholarships, just off of some of the money that we've made through what it is that we do. And that's really what I hope to do. Bring awareness, find a venue that we can raise a little bit more money that can go into that scholarship fund. Obviously not putting a dent in it, but I think bringing the awareness, right? Having a conversation, bringing the tough conversations to the table like this to say, what Coach Bentley is doing with a half-funded program is amazing. Imagine what could happen here in Boone, North Carolina with a fully funded. I think it could go a long way. So that's really where it all started. Where it's going to go, I don't know. I've got a goal for next season of what I would like to be able to give back to the program. I do know that we have 2 more seasons in our licensing agreement, and I hope by the end of it that athletics sees that the relationship has been impactful and will kind of continue doing what it is we do. The staff, the student athletes, the support staff have all been amazing. Open doors. We have great conversations with a lot of those guys. Kind of a lot like what you're doing here. The questions you asked Will were the same questions we asked. What's the favorite food in Boone? Trying to get outside of what happens on the mat, because a lot of coverage happens what's on the mat, right? We know a lot. We know their records. We know where their rankings are at. But what makes Will? What makes John? And that's a kid that started wrestling his sophomore year in high school, and he's an All-American. His first trip to the NCAA tournaments. That's just a story that still needs to be told. And we're, internally, that's what we're working on. How do we get stories out like that to reach people that are App State fans to say, I want to be a part of it? Because that's what it is that we're trying to do, is just to raise that.
Coach Bentley, I was kind of curious. I guess we had, we're talking about pandemic, and this was a difficult year, and, a lot of challenges you hadn't faced before. But then you also have, we're going to have the John Mark Bentley coaching tree developing, because you had two of your assistants last year go on to head coaching jobs. And, one, I'm sure you're proud of those guys, but also, dealing with the challenges of the pandemic with the new coaching staff on top of it has to be, pretty remarkable.
Yeah, it was, obviously everything with the pandemic was hard anyway. We got shut down. We had 6 qualifiers for the NCAA tournament. 3 of them were seniors. We're not going to get an opportunity to compete again. So managing that was hard. And then they pretty much shut down everything. All the guys go home. We're quarantined to our houses. During that, go through the summer, we don't have camp, we don't have students on camp, or we don't have students on campus. And then, oh, by the way, both of my assistants now get opportunities to go get head jobs. And, I was so happy for those guys, but that was tough. You're losing both assistants in the middle of a pandemic when there's so many things that were kind of, that were already difficult. And then you couple that with, then there was a hiring freeze for another, 3 or 4 months. I think the first, when both of them, like when LeBlanc took the job at the Citadel, I had no assistants for about 2.5, 3 months. And that was really hard. I was doing everything. And then, pretty much my garage became our workout facility. Guys like Will spent all summer in my garage. We were working out, training in my garage. And, the guys that lived here in Boone, we were still finding a way to train and to get better. And, I think, honestly, for Will, that was when he made a lot of his jumps was in my garage last summer. But, I was very fortunate, even though I lost both assistants and they both got opportunities, which I thought was well-deserved. And I think that's also a testament to our program as well, right? Like, when you get guys who are involved in our program and then are recruited by other programs because they want them to leave their program. I think that's a testament to Appalachian State wrestling. But then I was fortunate enough, I was able to get a hold of, Ian Miller. Just kind of worked out well to bring him in as an assistant. I knew when I interviewed him, I thought he was going to be a really good fit as far as our culture and just, my personality and everything. I thought he was really a great fit. It's ended up working out perfectly. And also I hired Randall Diabe, who's an alumni here. He's been awesome for our upper weights. He's growing as a young coach. And so, honestly, for the circumstances, I think I couldn't have asked for a better transition to losing 2 assistants to where our staff's at now. And I think, Will and I just were working out this morning and talking about how the staff just kind of fell into place also. So I'm very thankful for the assistants that I have now, for the assistants I've had in the past. And, our program is bigger than any one person. And so it's we've got a lot of people that are invested in it. And I think that's why, hopefully things continue moving in the same direction they're going.
All right, Coach. You guys have been very gracious with your time, and so is the Daniel Boone Inn. So, is there anything else that we haven't covered that you want to mention as we wrap up?
No, I think the biggest thing, if you're out there and I know you did some tours of our facilities and things like that, but if you ever get a chance to come to a home dual meet when we actually have a packed gym, there's no atmosphere like it. Like, I actually think that's one of the things that got Jeremy hooked to our program. He came to one of our dual meets and experienced that atmosphere. It's just second to none, and I think that's the one thing that a lot of people are really missing if you've never been to a sold-out dual meet at Varsity Gym. It's a pretty special place, and I think that's what we tell our recruits and try to showcase is wrestling's a big deal here, and you're going to be part of a program that competes for championships and is going to compete in front of people. It matters to a lot of people when we wrestle. So just thankful for all the support. Thankful for you guys taking the time to come down, and hopefully we'll get you guys down here again soon.
Yeah, I can't wait. Thanks a lot, Coach. Thanks, everybody.